I've invited my students to a trading challenge where the winner gets $2,000 and a chance to hop on a private yacht with me. Now the catch is, I'm in the challenge too. So will I be alone on this yacht, or will they take everything I've taught them and beat me? Now let me explain how the rules work. The first rule is a $500 deposit. All participants must deposit $500 into an account so I can ensure they are not trading demo as there are no emotions attached. Rule number 2 is they have 3 months to trade this account. The competition starts on August 1st and it ends on November 9th, which is a day that one of the lucky winners will be hopping on a yacht with me and I will hand them $2,000 in cash. And rule number 3 is track records of all trades taken. Once the competition is over, they must give me a broker statement of all of the trades so I can ensure that they did not switch accounts and that is the same account they've been trading on the entire time. Now that you know how that works, let me explain my strategy to you. So I will be trading supply and demand and volume breakouts during my trading session. And I will be risking about 10% per trade until I surpass $1,000, and then I will be upping the risk to about 20% per trade. Now, as far as risk management goes, I'm going to be keeping it simple. Every position I open, I'm going to look to gain about a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 5 per position. That means every position I open, I'm looking to 3 times or 5 times my initial risk before closing the trade. Okay, we are almost a full month into the challenge and I do have some results from contestants now. And you're honestly not going to believe what one of the contestants said about their account. I'm not going to lie, I got a lot of competition, but it kind of makes sense because I did teach them everything they know. Before we get into that, I want to show you guys the first couple trades I've taken since we started this challenge. Alright guys, so here's the very first trade I've taken, and of course I'm really taking my time and making sure I got the highest quality of setups because honestly $500 isn't that much to work with until I got up to that 1,000 level. So here we are, we started to break below and create sell side liquidity that got taken out during New York session, and as soon as we started to create bullish sentiment, I got in as soon as we started to break above this trend line here. So unfortunately, by just a couple points I got taken out of this trade just for price to go in the direction that I knew it was going to go to in the first place. So that first trade cost me about 50 bucks, which is about 10% of the account. And now I had to execute my second tactic just to start to potentially get into their heads to make sure that if I did lose the next couple trades until I get my foot on the ground, that they understand there was no way they were going to win. So I sent things like this, and I sent things like this to make sure that they have no hope of actually winning this challenge, regardless if I'm doing good or not. And of course, as I'm executing my tactics to make sure I win this challenge, I have to wake up to this message from one of the participants. This guy is literally up 50% in the first couple days since this challenge has started. I'm honestly really gonna have to step my game up. Now, you guys have to understand something. Starting off with $500 is not much capital to be able to play with. And so I understood every last trade I took had to be the best possible setups I can take. So let's go ahead and move on to the next trade and I'll show you what happened. All right guys, so the very next day after that first trade not playing out for me, I ended up hopping into my second trade. So what had happened was we finally broke through London highs right before session open and started to push back in the range. So I knew, well I thought I knew, as soon as we started to break back above those London highs, it was off to the races, as this is one of my favorite setups I use when I'm volume trading during session open. So as soon as we pushed back above that level, I went ahead and executed the position. Once we got up to a TP2, I went ahead and put stops to break even, and then a little bit above a TP3 to make about 40% on this one single trade, I went ahead and exited my position. So losing that 10% yesterday, plus this 40% here. At this point, I was sitting about 30% up on the account altogether. Very good day within the market. All right, now getting back to the participants, I did use a little bit more of tactic number 2 to let them all know they're definitely not beating me and I'm going to win this competition. Now, I knew in my head that that one guy is probably still beating me as he's up 50% on the account in the first couple of days, but nobody needed to know that. So let's get into it. So honestly, answers were all over the place. I had some people who were a bit in profit. I had some people who were a bit in drawdown. I have some people who didn't even start yet. And I had the guy I was telling you about earlier. This guy already blew his account. And guess who it was? It was a dude who was up 50% on his account. So now, of course, I'm feeling nobody's touching me. I'm definitely going to be the winner of this competition, but I guess you guys will have to wait until part 2 to see the actual result of this challenge. Now, before we end part 1 of this series, I want to show you guys where my account is currently sitting at right now. Also, if you guys want to take every last trade I take when I'm in the markets, including these competition trades, all you have to do is go down to the link in the description. It is completely for free. You don't have to sign up with the card. You simply just sign up and I give you all my trades. Now, let's get back into this account. Okay, so as you can see here, on 8/1, I deposited $500. And since that point, going all the way up to current time, this account is up to about 835 bucks, which is 70% of the account made within the first couple weeks. So let's see what happens next week. But as of right now, I really think I'm beating everybody in the competition.